Hari Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govina Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad. Sorry. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad. Ashata Rashata Shishman. Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shri Gurudev ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad. Ashata Rashata Shishman. Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad. Ashata Rashata Shishman. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Maha-bhagavat Srila Gorkisharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Anugarya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Nam Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Braja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradatta Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan. Sorry, I'm distracted. Jai Shri the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna Subhadra Didi. And let's see who else is there. Nobody yet. It's just me and you, Subhadra Didi. Alright, so Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So first I will sing a kirtan. Do you have any Mahaprabhu kirtan, Subhadra Didi, that you'd like me to sing? Otherwise I can choose anything.
Like this is a very beautiful song. Its name is Sake Kalaya Gotaram.
Let's do that one. Okay, I'll do that one. Sake Kalaya Goramudaram. Okay, we're doing Sake Kalaya Goramudaram. Oh, there's two Subhadras here. Pranams. And also Kishore Krishna Prabhu Hari Bol. Okay. Oh, my dear friends, just think about the magnanimous Sri Gauranga, whose bodily luster rebukes the splendor of gold, and who smashes the pride of Cupid. His curly locks, which defeat the splendor of dark rain clouds, are adorned with malati flowers surrounded by delighted honeybees. His tilak insults the beauty of the moon, and his attire enchants the whole world. His smile, sweet like honey, allures all embodied beings. His pastimes are filled with unparalleled sentiments of pure love, of bhavs. His mind is captivated by the heroine of Nidhuvan, as he utters indecipherable words in a choked voice. It is his nature to distribute mercy to those souls who are utterly destitute, having no wealth other than Krishna and service to him, as well as to those who hanker for material possessions. So it gives to those who are akinchan and who are kinchan. So to everybody. His mercy goes everywhere. His incomparable pastimes have thrown this foolish person named Radha Mohan into confusion. How is it that he's giving his mercy not just to the akinchan, but also to the kinchan? Okay. One second. O Sakhe Akalaya Gauram Udaram. O Sakhe Kalaya Gauram Udaram. Nindita Hataka Kanti Kalevara. Nindita Hataka Kanti Kalevara. Agarvita Maraka Maram. Garvita Maraka Maram. Sakhe Kalaya Gauram Daram. O Sakhe Kalaya Gauram Udaram. Madhukara Ranjita Malati Mandita. Madhukara Ranjita Malati Mandita. Jita Ghana Kunchita Kesham. Jita Ghana Kunchita Kesham. Tilaka Vinindita Shashadhara Rupaka. Tilaka Vinindita Shashadhara Rupaka. Bhuvana Manohara Vesham. Bhuvana Manohara Vesham. Tilaka Vinindita Shashadhara Rupaka. Bhuvana Manohara Vesham. Bhuvana Manohara Vesham. O Sakhe Kalaya Gauram Daram. O Sakhe Kalaya Gauram Daram. madhu madhura smita lobhita tanubritam madhu madhura smita lobhita tanubritam anupama bhava vilasam anupama bhava vilasam nidhuvanana gari mohita manasa nidhuvanana gari mohita manasa vikatita gargadabhasham vikatita gargadabhasham nidhuvanana gari mohita manasa vikatita gargadabhasham vikatita gargadabhasham o sakhe kalaya goramudaram sakhe kalaya goram udaram parama akinchana kinchana naragana parama akinchana kinchana naragana karuna vitarana shilam karuna vitarana shilam kshobhita dur mati radha mohana kshobhita dur mati radha mohana namaka nirupamali lam namaka nirupamali lam akshobhita durmati radha mohana namaka nirupamali lam namaka nirupamali lam asake kalaya goramudaram sakhe kalaya goram udaram nindita hataka kanti kalevara nindita hataka kanti kalevara karvitamara kamaram karvitamara kamaram anindita hataka kanti kalevara karvitamara kamaram karvitamara kamaram o sake kalaya goram udaram sake kalaya goram udaram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Jai Sachinandan Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Sachinandan Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jai Gaura Hari. Oh Gaura Hai, Gaura Hai, Gaura Hai, Gaura Hai. Oh Gaura Hai, Gaura Hai, Gaura Hai, Gaura Hai. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Rukmini Didi, Hari Bol. Let's see who else is here. Hari Bol, Amit Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams, and Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji, Sudevi Didi, Mithun, Hare Krishna, and Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Champak Didi, Hare Krishna, everybody, Dandavat Pranams. And I see there's 10 people altogether watching on YouTube and Facebook. Pranams, everybody. And 4 people on Zoom. Pranams, everybody. Alright, so now we will continue with our reading of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. First we'll do Mangalacharan and read the glories of Vrindavan Das Thakur and Caitanya-bhāgavata from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then do the recap, and today we will be completing chapter 12, which we've been reading for. This will be our 5th day of reading chapter 12. It's a long chapter. Right. Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tara Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ajanulambita bhujau kanakavadato sankirtanaikapitaro kamalaya-taksho Vishwambharo dvijavaro yugadharmapalo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro. Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Avatirno Sakarunyo Parichinno Sarishvaro Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Dvau Bhrataro Bhaje. Sajayati Vishuddha Vikrama Kanakabha Kamalaya Tekshana Varajanu Vilambi Sharbhujo Bahudha Bhakti Rasabhinartaka. Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Jayati Jayati Kirtis Tasya Nitya Pavitra. Jayati Jayati Bhrityas Tasya Vishvesha Murte. Jayati Jayati Nrityang Tasya Sarva Priyanam. Ādi Śrī Caitanya Priya Goshtir Charane Ashesha Prakare Mor Danda Paraname Tabe Vando Shri Krishna Chaitanya Maheshwar Navadvipe Avatar Nama Vishwambhar Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvam Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptashtakamaditaranga Madhye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. The glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 8, verses 33 to 42. Ore mura lok shuno Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Mahima Jate, Jani Beshakal. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas, Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das, Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal, Jahan Rashavane Nashe Sarvaya Mangal, Chaitanya Nitar Jate Janiye Mahima, Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima, O Bhagavate Jato Bhakti Siddhanter Sar, Lekhiya Chen Iha Jani Koriya Udar, O Chaitanya Mangala Shune Jadi Pashandi Javan, Sheho Maha Vaishnava Hoy Tataphan, Manushe Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya, Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Vakta Shri Caitanya, O Vrindavana Dasa Pore Koti Namaskar, Aiche Granta Korite Ho Tarilo Sangsar, Narayani Chaitanyer Uchishta Bhajan, Tar Garbe Janmila Shri Dasa Vrindavan, Atar ki Arbhuta Chaitanya Charita Varnan, Jahan Rashavane Shuddha Koilo Tribhuvan. Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Chaitanya Vihar, Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amrite Radhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet, and when they are described by Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai, Śrī Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. And the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. All right. So, Haribol Indira Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Okay, so on Hare Krishna Sudeep Mandal. Hare Krishna. Oh, did I forget to open this? No, I opened it. Kishore Prabhu, would you like to do a recap, or should I just read from the astrologer section to where we are?
I can quickly recap it.
Okay, cool.
So Vrindavan Das Thakur is continuing to describe Mahaprabhu's wandering through Navadip. And as Mahaprabhu was wandering through Navadip Dham, he came to an astrologer, and he was a famous astrologer. So Mahaprabhu, he came to the astrologer and he asked the astrologer, I've heard that you're a very good astrologer. So tell me, what was I in my previous life? Tell me all in detail. So the astrologer said, okay. And he got Mahaprabhu's chart, did Mahaprabhu's chart, and then he started chanting his Gopal mantra. So he was praying to Lord Gopal to reveal everything. But when he started chanting his Gopal mantra, he saw Gopal, and he saw various pastimes of Gopal. He saw how Gopal was taken, how he appeared in the jail cell of Devaki and Vasudev. Now he was taken to Braj. He saw how baby Krishna eating butter, and various pastimes of Gopal Krishna. And he was thinking, this is nice, but I need to know what this Brahmin Aman's past life was. So he started chanting more intensely, "Oh Gopal, please reveal to me what this Brahmin's previous life was." But then when he started chanting it, he saw Lord Ramachandra seated in an asan, very nice and golden complexion with his bow and arrow. He continued chanting, and he saw Varahadev, a very beautiful reddish complexion. And then he saw Nrsingadev, and then afterwards he thought, okay, either this Brahmin is very expert in chanting mantras, or some
There's
demigod.
two more though. He saw Vaman and Matsya also. Yeah, and then Balaram. And Vaman, Matsya, Balaram, and Jagannath with Baladev and Subhadra in between. And yeah, all that. Okay, continue.
And then he was thinking, okay, either it's some Brahmin who's very expert in chanting mantras, or a demigod who's come to test me. And then as he was thinking that, had Mahaprabhu said, okay, what did you see? What did you see? Tell me in great detail. And the astrologers told him, I'll tell you, but first go on and come back tomorrow. I'll explain everything tomorrow. So after that, Mahaprabhu, he went and he saw Kulabit Sridhar Pandit, the banana seller. And Sridhar was poor, but he was a very great bhakta. And Mahaprabhu started arguing with him, and Mahaprabhu was saying, Sridhar, you're very poor, and you're a Christian, and you are a Krishna bhakta. But I see that those who are worshipping Vishahari, Hari, and Lord Shiva, and Parvati, and Durga Ma, they're very wealthy. And Sridhar said, yes, but I like Krishna's worship. I forgot most of the details yesterday. Anyhow, Mahaprabhu, who continued arguing with Sridhar. Anyway, and after the discussion, Mahaprabhu asked him, okay, now what are you going to give me today, Sridhar? And Sridhar said, Mahaprabhu, I'm like, Nimai, come on.
One second. Could I just? I just.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just that one little part. I'll just read the translation for those verses, and then you continue on. So yeah, the Lord said, "Why do you always chant the name of Hari?" And you always chant the name of Hari. So why are you always afflicted by poverty? Can you please tell me why, after serving the beloved of Lord of the sorry? Can you tell me why, after serving the beloved Lord of Lakshmi, you do not get sufficient food and clothes? And then Sridhar said, well, at least I'm not starving, and whether small or large, I'm still wearing some cloth. The Lord said, but I see your cloth is mended in 10 places, and the roof of your cottage has no straw. Look at other people. They worship Chandi or Vishahari, and they have no scarcity for food or cloth. Sridhar then replied, O Brahman, what you say is indeed correct. Yet the time passes equally for everyone. The king has jewels in his house, and he eats opulent food. Meanwhile, the birds live in trees. Yet time passes equally for everyone, as they all enjoy the fruits of their previous activities by the will of the Lord. The Lord then said, you have great wealth that you are secretly enjoying. I will soon disclose this to everyone. Then how will you cheat us? Sridhar said, O Pandit, please go home now. It is not proper for us to argue. And then the Lord said, I am not going to leave you so easily. First tell me what you'll give me. Okay, now you can continue from that point.
No. It's I think it'll be better if you just read the verses.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot nicer.
Is it? I don't know. I like when you recap. Okay. The Lord said, I am not going to leave you so easily. First tell me what you'll give me. Sridhar said, I maintain myself by selling leaf cups. So tell me, what can I give you, Gosai? Yeah, leaf cups. It's not like banana trees where there's scarcity in Navadvip. So it's not, I don't think you can get too rich selling banana products. So the Lord said, let your hidden treasure remain for now. I'll take that later. For now, give me some bananas, banana flowers, and banana stalks, free of charge. Then I won't argue with you. Sridhar thought, this Brahman is very aggressive. I'm afraid one day he'll beat me. But even if he beats me, what can I do to a Brahman? At the same time, I cannot supply him free of charge every day. Anyway, whatever this Brahman takes by force or deceit, that is my good fortune, so I'll continue to give him every day. Thinking in this way, Sridhar said, listen, Gosai, don't worry about money. I'll happily give you some bananas, banana flowers, leaf cups, and banana stalks. But please do not fight with me. The Lord said, good, then I won't fight anymore. But see that I get good quality bananas and banana stalks. The Lord daily used Sridhar's leaf cups, and he ate sabjis made from Sridhar's plantains, banana flowers, and banana stalks. Whenever a squash grew on the roof of Sridhar's cottage, the Lord would eat it, cooked with milk and black pepper. The Lord then said, tell me, what do you think of me? After you answer this, I'll go home. Sridhar replied, you are a Brahman, a portion of Lord Vishnu. The Lord said, you do not know. Actually, I'm from a Gopa family. Although you see me as a son of a Brahmana, I consider myself a cowherd boy. Sridhar smiled at the Lord's words, but due to the illusory energy, he could not recognize his Lord. The Lord then said, Sridhar, let me tell you the truth. The glories of your Ganga are due to me. Sridhar replied, Nimai Pandit, are you not afraid of insulting Ganga in this way? One is supposed to become sober as he grows up, but I see your restlessness has doubled. After joking with Sridhar in this way, Lord Gauranga returns to his home. Shri Gaurasundar sat down at the door of his Vishnu temple, and his students all returned to their homes. So that's where we read up to yesterday. And today we will be finishing the chapter. One second. Okay. One second. Just... Okay. Dekhi Prabhu Purnamasi Chandrer Uday Vrindavana Chandra Bhava Hoilo Hriday. As Nimai saw the full moon one night, his heart became absorbed in the mood of Sri Vrindavan Chandra. Apurva Murali Dhwani Lagila Korite Ai boy ar keho na pai shunite. Nimai then began to play a flute in a most enchanting tune, which only Mother Shachi could hear. Tribhuvana Mohana Murali Shuni Ai Ananda Magane Murchai Gela Shetai. When Mother Shachi heard the sound of that flute, which attracts the three worlds, she fell unconscious in ecstasy. Kone ke Chaitanya pai sthir kori man, apurva murali dhwani koren shravan. After a while, she regained consciousness, and she steadied her mind as she continued listening to the wonderful sound of the flute. Jekhane boshiya ache Gauranga Sundar, she dike shunilen Vangshi Manohar. Shachi then noticed that the enchanting sound of the flute was coming from the direction where Nimai was sitting. Arbhuta shuniya aila bahire, dekhe putra boshiache Vishnur duare. Mother Shachi came outside in astonishment and saw that her son was sitting at the door of the Vishnu temple. Ar nahi payen shunite vangshinad, putrer hridaye dekhe akasher chand. She could no longer hear the sound of the flute, but she saw the full moon on the chest of her son. Putra vakhe dekhe chandra mandal shakshate, vismita hoiya ai chahe chari bhite. Seeing the moon on the chest of her son, Shachi was struck with wonder and began looking around. Grihe ashi boshi ai lagila chintite ki hetu nishchoy kichu na pare korite. Mother Shachi then went back inside and began to think about the reason for such a vision. E moto koto bhagavati Shachi ai, joto deke prakasha tahara antanai. In this way, the most fortunate Mother Shachi saw unlimited manifestations of opulence. Kona dina nisha bhage Shachi ai shune, Gita Vadya Jantra Bai Koto Shata Jane. One night, Shachi heard hundreds of people singing and playing musical instruments. Bahuvida Mukha Vadya Nritya Padatal, Jena Maharasa Krida Shunen Vishal. By the sound of dancing and various wind instruments, she considered that a grand Ras Leela festival was taking place. Kona dina dekhe sarva bari ghar dwar, Jyotirmaya boy kichu na dekhen ar. One day, all she could see was a brilliant spiritual effulgence permeating her house. Kona dina dekhe ati divya nari gan, Lakshmi prai shabe haste parma vibhushan. On another day, she saw many divine women who all held lotus flowers in their hands and resembled the goddess of fortune. Sorry, this is really annoying. Let me just stop this. Mute. Okay. Kona dina dekhe jyotirmoy devagan dekhi puna ar nahi pai darshan. Okay, so one day she saw the effulgent demigods, but when she looked again, she couldn't see them. Air e shaba drishti kichu chitra nahe, Vishnu bhakti swarupini vede jare kohe. It is not astonishing that Shachi had such visions, for the Vedas describe her as the personification of devotional service to Lord Vishnu, Vishnu Bhakti Swarupini. Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Devaki, the mother of Prishni Garbha, is the personification of devotional service to Lord Vishnu. Mothers of the Lord like Yashoda, Devaki, and Shachi serve the Lord in pure Vatsalya Ras. Therefore, even though such mothers are worshipable to the Lord, they are not bereft of pure spiritual service. Okay. Hare Krishna Andri Hari Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. Ai jare sakrita koren drishti pate, she hoy adhikari esab dekhite. Whoever receives the merciful glance of Mother Shachi becomes eligible to see such opulences. He no mate shi gora sundara vana mali, ache gora rupe nijanande kutuhali. In this way, Śrī Gaurasundar, who is non-different from Lord Krishna, lived in Navadvip incognito while relishing his own ecstasy. Nijanande kutuhali. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Gaurasundar Vanamali indicates that Śrī Gaurasundar is non-different from Vrajendra Nandan. That'd be a nice name to give to a kid. Gaurasundar Vanamali. That'd be kind of unique. Yadyapi eteka prabhu apana prakashe tathapiha chinnite na pare kona dase. Although the Lord manifested his opulences in various ways, his servants were still unable to recognize him. Heno she udhatya prabhu koren kotuke te mata udhatta ar nahi navadvipe. The arrogance that was sportingly displayed by Nimai was unmatched throughout Navadvip. Nimai's audatya was unparalleled. We looked up that word yesterday. I liked the word sasi for udatta. Jokono je rupe lila koren ishwar, she sarva shreshta tar nahi ko sosar. Juddha lila prati icha upaje jokhon, astra shikha vira ar na thake temon. Kamalila korite jokhon icha hoy, lakhar buddha banita she koren bijay. Dhana vilasite she jokhon icha hoy, prajar gharete hoy nidhi koti moy. Emona udhatta gora sundar ekhone, e prabhu virakta dharma loibe jokhone. She virakti bhakti kana khota tribhuvane, anye ki sambhave taha vyakta sarva jane. The pastimes enjoyed by the Lord are supreme in all respects. Whenever the Lord desires to fight, he becomes the topmost hero, and no one can surpass his prowess with weapons. Whenever the Lord desires to enjoy conjugal pastimes, he manifests millions of beautiful women. Whenever the Lord desires to enjoy opulence, he fills his servants' homes with millions of oceans of wealth. In this way, the arrogant nature now manifest by the Lord immediately vanished when he accepted the path of renunciation. At that time, not even a fragment of the renunciation and devotion that he manifested could be found throughout the three worlds. Is this possible for anyone else? Anye ki sambhave? Sambhave? Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Gaurasundar, who is the source of all incarnations, who performs pastimes out of his own sweet will, and who is the reservoir of transcendental pastimes, personally fought with the demons Madhu and Kaitab in his incarnation as Harishirsha, and the demon Hiranyaksha as Varaha, the demon Hiranyakashipu as Nrsingadev, and demons headed by Ravan in his incarnation as Ramachandra. Haya means horse, Shirsha means head, horse head. It's another name for Hayagriva, I guess, huh? What's Griva? Mane. Griva means mane. Okay. in his conjugal pastimes, and so he killed the demons headed by Ravan in his incarnation as Ramachandra. In his conjugal pastimes as Krishna, the source of all incarnations, he engages in conjugal pastimes. Sorry guys, I looked somewhere else. Hare Krishna Shubhananda Prabhu. In his conjugal pastimes as Krishna, the source of all incarnations, he engages in the rasa dance with innumerable cowherd damsels. Yet, in the houses of his subjects, he displays affluent pastimes as the Supreme Lord, full in 6 opulences. Śrī Gaurasundar, who enacts such wonderfully variegated pastimes, is also most expert in displaying various arrogant and mischievous pastimes. Moreover, when Gaurasundar later manifests the pastime of accepting the sannyas order of life, then his detachment for topics not related with the Lord, his direct experience of the Lord, and his attachment for the service of the Lord will be the ideal example for those desirous of serving the Lord. Even a particle of renunciation and devotion exhibited by Gaurasundar is rarely found within the 3 worlds. Everyone knows that such an ideal attitude of service to Krishna will not be found within the 3 worlds. Grihi Jana Shikshaka Nyasi Kula Nayaka. Gaurasundar, the source of all incarnations, did not exhibit any pastime of learning how to fight with weapons, accepting millions of girlfriends, or enjoying affluence in his pastimes as Gaur. Rather, such pastimes were displayed in his various other incarnations. Although he is the source of all incarnations, in this incarnation he displays only pastimes of magnanimity. He did not exhibit any conjugal pastimes in the course of his magnanimous Gaur pastimes. In order to disgrace him before the eyes of ordinary persons, those who belong to upasampradayas like the Gaur Nagaris attribute deviations in proper behavior to the Lord's pure character, which is exemplary for everyone. But it should be known that their mentality is a source of offenses. Yeah, I've mentioned this a few times, but it seems like with all of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's teachings, one big emphasis in his Harikatha is defeating this Gaur Nagarivad. It comes up everywhere, and he's written many articles on it, and yeah. E mata Ishwarer sarvashreshta karma sabe seva kere hare se tahan dharma. The activities of the Lord are supreme in all respects, but it is his nature to accept defeat at the hands of his devotees. Gaudiya Bhashya. The activities of the Supreme Controller, Ishwarer Karma, are always superior to the activities of the controlled. The former are transcendental and incomparable, and therefore matchless, eternal, and relishable, while the latter are mundane or worldly, incomplete, abominable, and temporary. But since the characteristics of those who are controlled by love of God are even more relishable than those of the controller, their characteristics are capable of defeating those of the controller. In the Padma Purana it is stated, Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param tasmat paratarang devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Of all types of worship of Lord Vishnu is best, and better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotee, the Vaishnava. Ekadina Prabhu Aisena Rajapate Pancha Sata Parua Prabhur Chari Bhite. One day, Nimai, along with 5 or 7 students, was walking down the main road. Vyavahare Raja Yogya Vastra Paridhan Ange Pita Vastra Shobhe Krishner Saman. Nimai was dressed like a king. The yellow cloth that covered his body made him look just like Krishna. Adhare tambul koti chandra shivadan. Loke bole murti manta eki madan. As he chewed betel nut, his face resembled millions of moons. People who saw him inquired, "Is he Cupid?" Lalate tilaka urdva pustaka shikare drishti matre parmanetre sarva papa hare. His forehead was decorated with tilak, and in his hands he carried some books. A glance from his lotus eyes destroyed all sins. Swabhave chanchala paruvar varga sange pahudolaiya prabhu aisen range. As the restless-natured Lord walked along with his students, his arms swung back and forth. Daive pate aisen pandita Shrivas Prabhu deki matratan hoilo mahahas. By providence, Shrivas Pandit was coming from the opposite direction at that time. Upon seeing the Lord, Shrivas began to laugh loudly. Mahahas. Tane dekhi Prabhu korile namaskar. Chirajivi ho bole Shrivasa udar. Nimai offered obeisances to Shrivas, who blessed Nimai by saying, "Live forever," or "live a long life." Right? Gaudiya Bhashya. Sandipani Muni as the teacher of Krishna, Garga Muni as the priest, Bhrigu Muni as the examiner, and in Gaur Lila, Brahmananda Puri as a godbrother of Ishwar Puri, and Shrivas Pandit as a senior Brahmana. They all considered the Lord as a subordinate object of affection and care, and thus acted as guardians of the Lord. But it should be understood that in the mood of awe and reverence, such behavior is harmful to the principles of service. Interesting. So Srila Saraswati Thakur is saying that they were beyond the mood of awe and reverence in this case. That's an interesting commentary. I'll look at this later. One second, just seeing if there's a... Yeah. Okay, Rukmini Didi. Hasiya Shrivasa bole koho dekhi shuni koti chaliyacho udhater chudamani. I swear to God, this must be like the 7th or 8th time that Mahaprabhu is being referred to as Uddatta. Nimai is being referred to as being Uddatta. Keeps on like again and again and again. Uddatta. Yeah. Krishna na bhajiya kala ki karje goao ratri dina niravadi kene va podao pore kena loka Krishna bhakti jani bare she jadi nahilo tabe vidyai ki kore eteke sarvada vyartha na goao kal porila to ebe Krishna bojoho shokal. Hasi bole Mahaprabhu shuno ho pandita tomar kripay sheha hoibe nishchita. Oh, and just regarding what we read previously, yes, awe and reverence is incompatible with Vatsalya, as per Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay, so I understood that correctly then. It should be understood that in the mood of awe and reverence, such behavior is harmful to the principles of service. Vatsalya is harmful to Aishwarya. Okay, so now verses 249 to 253. Shrivas smiled and inquired, "O best of the arrogant, where are you going? Why do you uselessly waste your time by not worshipping Krishna? Why do you spend day and night simply teaching mundane knowledge? Why do people study? Education is only for understanding devotional service of Lord Krishna. Therefore, do not uselessly waste your time any longer. You studied enough. Now you should worship Krishna. Nimai smiled and said, "Listen, Pandit, that will certainly be done by your mercy." Gaudiya Bhashya. One day while walking on the road, the Lord met Srivas Pandit. When the Lord offered him obeisances, Srivas blessed him, saying, May you live long." Srivas continued, "O Nimai, if you give up the worship of Krishna and spend your time in activities not related with Krishna, there will be no possibility of your achieving eternal auspiciousness. The purpose of learning and teaching in this world is achieved only by dovetailing these activities in the devotional service of Krishna. If devotion to Krishna is not awakened by the cultivation of knowledge, then such cultivation is meaningless and fruitless. You have already studied many books. Therefore, do not delay any longer. Immediately engage in the topmost fruit of all studies, the worship of Lord Sri Hari." Jai, Srivas Thakur ki jai. In answer to this, the Lord said, "O Pandit, you are a devotee of the Lord. By your blessing, I will soon become attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. 254. Eto boli Mahaprabhu hasiya cholila, Ganga tire ashishya sahite milila." After speaking in this way, Mahaprabhu smiled and departed for the bank of the Ganga, where he met his students. Ganga tire boshilen Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, Chaturdike bediya boshila shishyagan. Śrī Caitanya then sat on the bank of the Ganga with his students surrounding him on all sides. Koti mukhe she shobha na pari kahite, Upama otar nahi dekhi tri jagate. I could not describe the beauty of that scene, even if I had millions of mouths. There is no comparison in the three worlds. Chandra tara gana va boli boshe honai, Sakalanka tar kala koi vriddhi hoy. I cannot compare that scene with the moon surrounded by stars, because the moon has spots and it also waxes and wanes. Sarvakala paripurna e prabhur kala, Nishkalanka teshe upama dure gela. This Lord, however, is eternally complete and spotless. Therefore, a comparison with the moon is unjustified. Brihaspati upama odite na jujai, Teho eka pakha deva ganer sahai. I cannot compare Nimai with even Brihaspati, because Brihaspati is partial to the demigods. E Prabhu sabar pakha sahai sabar, Ataeva she drishtanta na hoy ihar. This Lord, however, is partial to everyone, and therefore a comparison with Brihaspati is also unjustified. Kamadeva upama vadivo sheho noy, Teho chitte jagile chitter koba hoy. Nor can I compare Nimai with Cupid, because if Cupid appears in one's heart, that heart becomes agitated. E Prabhu jagile chitte sarva bhanda khoy, Parama nirmala suprasanna chitta hoy. When this Lord appears in one's heart, however, all one's material bondage is destroyed, and his heart becomes pure and happy. এ মত সকল দৃষ্টান্ত যোগ্য নয়, সবে এক উপমা দেখিয়া চিত্তে লয়. Therefore, all these comparisons are improper. But there is one comparison that I can think of. Interesting. What is that comparison going to be? Kalandir tire jeno Śrī Nanda Kumar, Gopa Vrinda madhe boshi korila bihar. Shehi Gopa Vrinda loy, Shehi Krishna Chandra, Bhujhi dvija rupe Ganga tire kore ranga. Just as the son of Nanda enjoyed his pastimes sitting amongst the cowherd boys on the bank of the Yamuna, that same Krishna, in the form of a Brahmana, now enjoyed pastimes sitting with those same cowherd boys on the bank of the Ganga. Jai Gaur Gopal ki Jai. Gaur Krishna ki Jai. Gauriya Bhashya. The Lord sat on the bank of the Ganga, surrounded by his students. 3 comparisons are given in this regard. 1. The moon surrounded by the stars. 2. Brihaspati surrounded by the demigods. And 3. Cupid. But these 3 comparisons are unable to properly describe the Lord's unparalleled beauty and sitting posture, because A. The moon has black marks resembling a rabbit, and it waxes and wanes, and it also cannot be seen in the daylight, while Gaurachandra is devoid of black spots and diminishment. Then B. Brihaspati is a spiritual master of just one party, only the demigods, and has no sympathy for the opposing party, the demons, while Gaurasundar is a spiritual master of everyone, both the demons and demigods. Demigods and demons, and humans. And C. Cupid appears in the mind of a person and causes mundane agitation, while the appearance of Gaurasundar vanquishes all bondage and enlivens the living entities. Though these comparisons give an incomplete and partial indication of the Lord's beauty, they are unable to give a complete description. Therefore, Govinda, in his unparalleled pastimes of sitting on the bank of the Yamuna with the cowherd boys, is the best and ideal comparison to Gaur, who is non-different from him. Ganga tire je je jane dekhe Prabhu mukha, she paye ati anirvachaniya sukha. Whoever saw the Lord's face as he sat on the bank of the Ganga attained indescribable happiness. Dekhiya Prabhur teja ati bilakhan, Ganga tire kana kani kore sarvajan. Keho bole eto teja manusher noy, Keho bole e Brahmana Vishnu angsha hoy. Keho bole Vipra Raja hoy beka gore, she e bhuji e katana na nare. Raja Chakravarti chinay dekhiye shakal, e mata bole jar jata buddhi bol. Seeing the Lord's extraordinary effulgence, everyone on the bank of the Ganga began to whisper to one another. Someone said, "An ordinary human does not have such an effulgence." Someone else said, "This Brahmana is a portion of Lord Vishnu." Another said, "I think he will fulfill the prediction that a Brahman will become the king of Gauda, for he has all the symptoms of a king." In this way, everyone spoke according to their understanding. It's been mentioned a few times that there's a prediction that a Brahman will become the king of Gauda. And everybody knew that. Gauriya Bhashya. Seeing the Lord's effulgence, no one considered him equal to an ordinary human being. Some people thought he was a portion of Vishnu, and some thought that the time had come for fulfillment of the prediction that a Brahman would become king of Bengal. In other words, on seeing him, it appeared to people that he would in the future become king of Bengal, or in other words, the Lord of the Gaudiyas. This prediction could not prove otherwise. Adhyapaka pratisab kotakha koriya kotaksha, like Kataksha, sorry, like Kripa Kataksha. Kataksha Koriya Vyakhya Kore Prabhu Ganga Samipe Boshiya. Meanwhile, the Lord pointed out faults in others in the other teachers as he engaged in explaining the scriptures on the bank of the Ganga. Hoy Vyakhya noy kore hoy Shakala Kandiya Sheshe Shakala Sthapoy. Nimai established correct statements as incorrect and incorrect statements as correct. Then, after refuting all other explanations, he again established the proper meaning with new explanations. Gaudiya Bhashya. Sri Gaurasundar began to exhibit such ingenious scholastic pastimes that he easily refuted the challenges of all ordinary people and established his own conclusions. He would first refute a challenge and then re-establish it by his own ingenuity. Prabhu bole tare ami boli je pandita, ekabar vyakhya kore amar sahita. The Lord said, I consider a person learned if he is able to discuss with me. She vyakhya vyakhyana koriya arbar ama prabhu dibe heno shakti achekar. Who has the power to refute me by establishing a different explanation? E mata ishvara vyanjena alhankar sarva garva churna hoy shuniya sabar. As the Supreme Lord exhibited his pride in this way, he smashed the pride of all others. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word Vyanjena Ahankar mean manifesting pride. Kotoba Prabhur Shishya Tar Antanai Kotoba Mandali Hoy Pore Thai Thai. The Lord had innumerable students who studied in groups under his direction. Pratidin Dashabish Brahmana Kumar Asya Prabhur Pai Kore Namaskar. Every day, 10 or 20 Brahman boys came to offer obeisances to the Lord. Pandita Amra Pori Baya Tomastane Kichu Jani Heno Kripa Koriba Apane. They would say, O Pandit, we wish to study with you. Please be merciful so that we may learn something. Bhalo bhalo hasi Prabhu bolen vachan e mata pratidin bade shishyagan. The Lord smiled and said, Good. Thus the number of his students increased day by day. Ganga tire shishya sange mandali koriya vaikunter churamani achen boshiya. The Lord of Vaikuntha would sit amidst the circle of his students on the bank of the Ganga. Chaturdike dekesha bhagyavanta lok sarva navadvipa prabhu prabhave ashok. Fortunate people watched from all sides, and by the influence of the Lord, the entire city of Navadvip became free from lamentation. She Ananda J Bhagyavanta Dekhilek Kona Jan Ache Tar Bhagya Bolibek. Who can calculate the good fortune of the pious souls who saw those pastimes? She Ananda Dekhilek J Shukriti Jan Tane Dekhile O Khande Sangsara Bandhan. Just by seeing a pious soul who has seen those pastimes, one is freed from material bondage. Gaudiya Bhashya. The transcendental Vaikuntha pastimes of Śrī Gaurasundar are so ecstatic that if one sees a person who sees such pastimes, one is freed from attachment to material existence. Hoilo papishta janma na hoilo tokane hoilaya vanchita she shuka darashane. My sinful birth did not take place at that time. Therefore, I was cheated from seeing those pastimes. Gaudiya Bhashya. The author, who is the incarnation of Śrī Vyas, the spiritual master of the entire world, and Vaishnavacharya, is teaching the example of humility by lamenting in the following way. Alas! Such an unfortunate birth as mine did not take place during the transcendental pastimes of Śrī Gaurasundar, so I was not fortunate enough to see those ecstatic pastimes. Materialist persons take birth in order to enjoy the fruits of their respective past misdeeds. But if such births take place during the manifest pastimes of the Lord, they become glorious by seeing those pastimes, though they have taken abominable bodies. Tatapi ha e kripa koro gora chandra she lila smriti mor hoka janma janma. Still, O Gora Chandra, please be merciful to me so that I may remember those pastimes, birth after birth. Gaudiya Bhashya. Since I could not take birth during the manifest pastimes of Gaur, my only prayer at the lotus feet of the Lord is that in all of my future births, his pastimes may ever remain present in my mind, and thus awaken my good fortune. Saparshare tumi nityananda jatha jatha lila koro mui jeno britya hoya tata. Wherever you and Nityananda perform pastimes with your associates, may I be present there as a servant. Gaudiya Bhashya. Wherever the pastimes of Śrī Gaura Nityananda and their eternal associates are manifest, may I receive the opportunity to serve them at all those places, life after life. This is my prayer at the lotus feet of Śrī Gaurasundar. Śrī Krishna Caitanya Nityananda Chanda Jan Vrindavana Dasa Tachu Pada Juge Gan. Accepting Śrī Caitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends this English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary on Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Ādi-khaṇḍa chapter 12, entitled The Lord's Wandering Throughout Navadvip. Jai Shri Nandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So, it's actually good if I end early today because I have a meeting with somebody. Supposed to be, and then I'm going to an Ayurvedic doctor also soon after that. So, but if anybody has anything they'd like to discuss, I'd like to stop at 8:30 by the latest. But yeah, Kishore Prabhu or Mini Didis, Shubhananda Prabhu, Nuri Hari Prabhu, if anybody has anything they'd like to discuss, then we can do that now. Otherwise, yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. What's the chapter for tomorrow? I don't know. Just checking really quick. Let's see. I'm just checking out what the reading is for tomorrow. What topic will we be reading? Caitanya-bhāgavata reading. Okay, got it here. Okay. So chapter 13 is defeating Digvijay. Oh, cool. That's a fun one. So tomorrow we'll be reading Defeating the Digvijay Pandit, Keshav Kashmiri. Alright, so I'll do Mahamantra and end for now.
What is it that verse said or in the purport that said that if one sees such a person who has seen these pastimes, they will what? Get freed of material existence?
Let's look. They will okay, just by seeing a pious soul who has seen those pastimes, one is freed from material bondage. Khande sangsar bandhan. The bondage of sangsar is khande, is cut. All right. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
Reminds me of taking darshan of Gurudev.
Yes.
I was just gonna say the same, because our Guru Maharajas are intimate. We always tell, the scriptures say that they're the intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Kishori just mentioned it. Neat.
That's really nice. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, around Srila Gurudev, whenever you didn't feel like you're in this material world, you felt like you're in Vraj. There's such a feeling of Vrindavan, wasn't there, around Gurudev, especially? Yeah. All right. That's a nice meditation, nice note to end on. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Sachinandan Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Sachinandan Gaura Hari, Sachinandan Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Swaparshara, Jai Gaura Hari, Swaparshara, Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Swaparshara, Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Swaparshara, Jai Gaura Hari, Jai Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Gurudeva. Deva, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gantar Vikagiri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashta Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashta Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashta Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashta Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashta Rashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishta Maha-Bhagavat Srila Gaur-Kishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Nagu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Padadasa Raghunath Sharda Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai, Namachay Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Kshetra Mandal, Gaura Mandal, Vraja Mandal, Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund Ki Jai, Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai, Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai, Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai. Gaudiya Bhashya commentary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai, Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyai Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams everybody. Dandavat pranams Nari Hari Prabhu, Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Rukmini Didi, Subhadra Didi, Shubhananda Prabhu, my anonymous friend Prabhu, and then there's Amit Bhaskar, Amit Krishna Prabhu, Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji, Sudevi Didi, Mithun, Pradyumna Prabhu, Mantra Murti Mataji, Champak Didi, Indira Mataji, Sudeep, Sharma Ji, and everybody else watching. Dandavat pranams. See you all tomorrow to read about the Digvijay Pandit. Yes, Nimai defeating the Digvijay Pandit, Keshav Kashmiri. Hari Bol, everybody. Thanks for coming, Didi. Alright, Hare Krishna, everybody. See you tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Kishore Krishna is asking, who is anonymous Das? Well, he wouldn't be anonymous if I mentioned, so. Hari Bol Nri Hari Prabhu. Thank you. Jai Shri Radhe. I'm going to end it now.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.